What's up, family? Make sure my sound is up. Hey, welcome to day 3. This is the third day of Christmas. So, if this is your first time joining me during this time, I am going through the 12 days of Christmas. And what I'm doing is giving you 12 essential skills that you need to work on as a couple, since as a family, as a couple, in order to help you have a much better 2024, right? And because if you're married and you improve your marriage, life gets better, right? Life on this planet is about relationships. And so if you're married, that is your primary number one relationship, or it should be, right? That's another story. But if we can get that better, your whole life gets better. And so today I wanted to do day 3 live because I talk so much about love, and I just wanted to do it live. So now, if you're watching this on Facebook, then I'm sorry, if you're watching this on YouTube, then it's not live. As a matter of fact, I may do something different for YouTube because I'm not broadcasting to YouTube right now. But anyway, thank you for joining. Let's get into the third day of Christmas. Also, let me say this: if this is your first time, if you didn't watch yesterday's episode, let me say this. You may be thinking, why is he doing 12 days of Christmas when Christmas has passed? If you're like me, you probably thought that the 12 days of Christmas, from the song On the First Day of Christmas. Well, the 12 days of Christmas actually starts December 25th. It starts on Christmas Day. It doesn't start December 14th and go to Christmas Day. It starts Christmas Day and goes to like January the 5th. Why? Because it represents the 12 days in between the time Christ was born and when the wise men show up. Now, yes, we know Jesus was not born December 25th, but that's the day we celebrate it. And so, first day of Christmas is December 25th. 12th day of Christmas is January the 5th. So today is the third day. What are we talking about today? Today we're talking about the skill of love. The skill of love. Right? So when I'm talking about the skill of love, I'm talking about you loving, not you being loved. As a matter of fact, I have, but I don't do a whole lot of teaching on the concept of how people should be treating you. I talk about it sometimes, but mostly I talk to you about how you should be treating other people because that's what the Bible does, right? God addresses you more often than anyone else about how you behave, not how they behave. So this about love is about you enhancing your skill of love. Why do I call love a skill? Because you can get better at it. You can improve the way that you love. I believe that one of the most difficult things that we humans have to do is love. If we do it correctly, most of us don't, right? So we're going to get into this. Now, if you're not on my email list, I encourage you to get on the email list because before this live, I actually sent out an email about love. So I do a little write-up first, and then I do the video. And so some other stuff in the email if you want to get that. All right, let's get into it. So in the email, here's what I said. There's these 4 things I want to address to help you improve your skill of being a better lover, right? Because if you love better, everything gets better. Recap, since it's only day 3. The first day of Christmas was, what was the first day? Humility. In enhancing your skill of humility. The second day of Christmas yesterday was building trust. You can't have a healthy relationship without building trust. Trust runs through everything. And then today we're talking about love. So here's the first thing I want to tell you about love while my ear is itching. The first thing is this. You need to understand what love is. That's the first one. So these 4 things, again, are going to help you increase. It's going to help you be a better lover. Okay, just say it that way. So the first thing you got to do, you got to understand what love is. Okay, but before we talk about what love is, let's talk about what love is not. Okay, look, what love is not. This is in my way. What love is not is transactional. Okay, love is not transactional. That's important for you to know because a lot of us treat love like it's transactional. What do I mean by transactional? Meaning, you do something for me and then I do something for you. Now, watch this. There's a place for that. That's not necessarily a bad thing in and of itself, but it's not love. Love is not transactional. Love is a free will gift. Here's what transaction is. So, transaction is I go to Starbucks, I give them money, they give me coffee. We just made a transaction. Love is not that way. Love is not, I'm going to give it to you so you can give it back. That's called pride. And even when you give good things and you think it's from a good place, but then it has a negative motive attached to it, it can't be love, and it's not going to produce the results that love normally produces when you give it. Okay. Here's another thing that love is not. Love is not controlling. Ever. Okay. Just because, so I said ever, so let me explain that. When I'm parenting my children and I'm, keeping them safe, you can't do this, you can do that. That doesn't fall under, I know like technically that can be control, but that ain't the kind of control we're talking about. We're talking about adults telling other adults how they need to live their life so that I can feel safe. Love doesn't do that. Love, because fear is always feeling control. So love gives you love needs liberty to thrive. So when you try to control it, you're going to mess it up. It stops becoming love. Like you can't make somebody love you. And a lot of you do that. I keep hitting this mic. A lot of you will get in your relationships and you try to force your partner to be somebody they've never been. And because they're not that, you withhold love. Why'd you choose them? I know why you chose them. I don't even know why I asked that. You chose them because you thought they were something that they're not. But that ain't their fault. That's your fault. You thought that they were your fantasy. You thought that they were everything you were looking for. You thought that they fit the mold that you made up. That ain't possible. And so now you're frustrated because they won't be who you want them to be. You cannot control somebody into loving you. I tell people this, like when I'm dealing with affair couples, let's say if it's the man that cheated, because I have women who cheat too. So let's say it's the man that cheated. So I'm trying to keep this thing to because that's why I keep adjusting this. If I get too close, it's on my beard. If you get too far away, I don't know if y'all can hear me because it's live, right? In post-production, I can change stuff. But anyway, so I have these affair people who come to me. Let's say the husband cheated and the wife, now if you've been cheated on, you know how the wife is, right? I don't want to go into details about that. But so if the wife, like if she's constantly checking his phone, and I understand that, if he has to give up his password, and I condone that, right? But if she's keeping tabs on him, everywhere he go, he has to check in. Hey, I made it to such and such. Hey, I made it to the corner store. All right, now I'm finna go to the stoplight. Okay, I made it at the stoplight. Now I'm about to make a left. You are not the wife. She is not going to feel loved and valued by him doing the right thing. Why? Because she's making him do it. And here's what I tell people. Now, I tell this to affair couples, but I tell this a lot to men who try to control their wives. I say, fellas, or usually I'm talking to one guy, well, unless I'm in my class. But anyway, listen, you can't lock her in the house and then say she never cheats. You haven't given her the freedom to cheat. You have to allow your partner the freedom to cheat on you so that they can make a choice not to. That's what love is, right? Love is a free will choice. Here's something else that love is not. Love is not an emotion, right? The butterflies you feel in the beginning, that's not love. You think it is, but it's not, right? It's just an emotional high. Love is an action. Love is not a feeling. Love produces feelings, but when you're giving it, if you're giving love and it is primarily based on how you feel, you're going to run into pride. Here's another one. I was going to say only in America, but I haven't been anywhere else, so I can't say. But in America, for sure, I need to say this. Love is not sex. This is my last time adjusting the mic. I'm going to leave it right here. Okay, it's not. See, I don't want it in front of my face. Let me see if I can raise it up. All right, that's better. That's better. All right, that's good. Love is not sex. Sex, and when Clifton Eugene Brantley talks about sex, just so you know, I am always and only talking about married couples. Now, if you're not married and you having sex, you can apply what you want to, but I'm not talking to you. I don't mean you can't use the information. Like, I mean, it's free information, but just know my intent. I'm talking to married folk. Anyway, sex can be an expression of love, but sex is not love itself. Here's another one. Love does not harm. There's a difference between hurt and harm. Love does not harm people. Now, I may love my wife. I may do something that harms my wife, but when I do that, I'm not operating in love. But when I say love doesn't harm, what I really mean is, because all of us can do something stupid and harm our partner, and that doesn't negate the love we have for them. But when you harm your partner on a consistent basis, I'm going to question your love, because love looks a certain way. I lied. I touched it again. Don't pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. Love. When you are harming your partner on a consistent basis, I'm going to question your love. Like, love doesn't do that. And here's one I had to recently add. Because it's so interesting to me that this has even come up so much lately. But let me clear this up for you, so you don't ever have to worry about this again. Love is, okay? Love is a burden. Love is a burden. Love is a burden. Why am I saying that? Because so many people have attached negativity to burden. Burdens don't have to be negative. Watch this. So if you've been watching me for a long enough time, you know what I want, what kind of truck I want. Right, a Raptor. I want an F-150. You know how much that truck costs? If I don't pay for it cash, which I want to do, I intend to do, if I don't pay for it cash, that car note, burden, but the car, blessing. Last night, I was watching Reacher. Rick Marks, I think it was Rick Marks made a comment, got me watching Reacher now. He made a comment. I said, you know what, let me check this out. So in the first season, he had a Bentley. This is the first time ever in my life I wanted a Bentley. I'm like, man, that car is live. I think I want one of them. If I got a Bentley, burden. So, and I'm just making the point when I say that is that burdens are not all negative, right? When I was a single father of three, I'm still a father of three, but they're grown now. But when they were kids, they were a burden. Like, I couldn't come and go as I wanted to. I couldn't just leave the house I couldn't just go to Dallas or, go to Atlanta or go wherever and just leave them at home. But I wasn't tripping. Here's what Jesus said, so you'll know that burdens are not bad. Jesus said, come unto me, all you who labor and are heavy laden, and what? I will give you rest. Why? He said, take my yoke upon you, for my burden is easy. Or he said, my yoke is easy, my burden is light. He said, my burden is light. My yoke is easy, my burden is light, but it's a burden, right? And so my wife asked me the other day, she said, am I a burden to you? And I said, yes. And her face turned. I said, but wait, hold it. Not in a bad way. The way I see, like, love is a burden. Okay. So I just wanted to share that so you guys would know, it shouldn't be this hard. Who told you that? No. Love is a burden. So now we're talking about what love is. I need to get off this first one because I got three more. Here's the definition of love. That's another thing why when I do lives, they be so much longer. When I can sit, well, I guess maybe that's because editing. No, not even when I'm editing. I can get me a 15, 20-minute video. But anyway, I'm trying to do this in 20 minutes. So here's the definition of love we're going to use, okay? I believe this is one of the best and short definitions of love, and I believe it's applicable across the board wherever you want to go. So here it is. Love is selfless action or a selfless act of giving for the benefit of the receiver of love. Real simple. Selfless act of giving for the benefit of the receiver of love, right? The love that I have is not for me. It's for the person I'm loving. Love is not about you. It's about the person you're loving, right? When you're loving, but you're thinking about you, you're walking in pride. And where is pride? At the root of 100% of divorces, right? So, love is selfless act of giving. You can give without loving, but you cannot love without giving. So you keep saying, I love you, I love you, I love you, but you don't, there's never any fruit from that. Like, again, we're gonna question your love. Okay. Now, what is the primary purpose of love? I'm still on number one. What's the primary purpose of love? I believe what I'm about to say now may be a little controversial for you guys. And maybe I'll spend more time on this and I'll kind of shorten the other ones because this is important. This may be a little controversial for some of you guys, right? But first of all, let me tell you something that love is not for. To make you feel good. Love is not for the purpose of making you feel good. The purpose of love, from what I studied and what I can understand, the purpose of love is primarily to meet needs. Primarily. And the reason I say primarily is because I haven't done extensive research. So I reserve, I hold back from saying that's the only purpose for it. That's what I actually believe, but I want to be accurate. And so I say primarily because I ain't done research. But primarily, it's for the purpose of meeting needs. You don't need love to go to Vegas and have fun. You don't need love to take a trip to Jamaica. You don't need love when you're feeling good. Love is good all the time, but you need love to show up when life is difficult. You need love to show up when you are in trouble, when life is putting them hands on you. You need love to show up. But in our marriages, what do? Usually when things get difficult, that's when love put on his shoes and walk out. Love be like, I'll be back when y'all stop fighting. That's the kind of love you have. Listen, you're going to tear up your marriage. Love, the purpose of love is for meeting needs. See, we think that if something doesn't feel good, then it's not love. That doesn't make sense. I just did a video not long ago, maybe a few weeks, I don't know how long ago. I did a video maybe a couple of months ago on the topic, the truth about love languages. See, a lot of you are confused about love languages, and you think, number one, you think that's a real thing. I understand the concept, but in the love languages book, if you do that, you're going to find yourself walking in pride. Okay. So because the book is primarily about getting you to feel a certain way. Love is not about making you feel a certain way. Love is about taking care of you. The feeling that comes from being loved, that's just a byproduct. But that's not what love is. So I'm going to share this and then I'm going to go to number two. So Christmas just passed, right? And for Christmas, my mama makes her sweet potato pie, right? The sweet potato pie that my mama makes is amazing. When she's cooking the pie, the aroma of the pie fills the house. I get excited. The scent from the pie is stimulating one of my five senses. You feel me? But the stimulation of the aroma of the pie will not satisfy the hunger for the pie or the desire for the pie. The aroma is not enough. I need the actual pie. When you feel good, it's like the aroma of the pie, but that ain't the pie, right? So here's something else I've discovered. This probably shouldn't have been alive because I can see this. I'm gonna have to do a second version because I can see this could get long when I go down this street. I don't believe. Let me just share this thought with you. So when it comes to love, I know that in the Greek, they have different words for love. They got eros, philia, storge, agape, right? The Bible, the Bible that talks about love, it talks primarily about agape. Now, it mentions philia, I believe. I think that's the only other one that it mentions. But here's what I believe. When the Bible talks about God and love, it's always talking about agape. When Jesus said, men will know you by the way that you love, he's talking about agape. when he demonstrated for them what love's supposed to look like, it was agape. Now, uh, I believe that those other words are what we humans have used to describe love like stuff. Like, for example, eros. So eros is where we get the word erotic from, right? So eros is supposedly the sexual romantic type love. It's a chemistry, like, like the electricity, the thing that makes you want to connect physically. It's driven and stimulated by how I feel. It finds its root in emotions, which means if I don't feel a certain way, then I'm not going to act a certain way. I don't believe that's love. I know they call it that, but here's what I believe. I believe that eros, I told you it might be a little controversial. Eros, storge, philia, those are all descriptions of ways that we humans interact and whatever. Like I'm like giving a big umbrella description, right? But agape, I believe, is what the Bible wants us to know as far as what love is. Now, in saying that, I have to say this. I'm so far off my notes, but so then for marriage, you need agape, but you also, I do believe that, so what we call eros, I believe for Americans or for folk who are not Greek, it's the same thing as passion. I just think it's passion. But I think for marriage, I believe for marriage, passion is 1000% necessary. Okay? So I believe when he says husbands love your wives, he's talking about agape. But that doesn't mean that we're not supposed to have passion. I believe the Song of Solomon talks about love in a way. I think he's talking about passion. Because if God says, greater love has no man than this, than to lay down his life for a friend, where's the pleasure in laying down my life? Where's the pleasure in the cross? Right? Where's the joy in the cross? As a matter of fact, when Christ loved me by giving up his life, I read that and I learned that I don't feel warm and fuzzy. I don't get butterflies, right? The aroma of the pie ain't the same. But the love, what he did, it was a selfless act of giving for my benefit, not for his. Now, eventually he got joy from giving. I got joy because I'm saved. And my point is this: I believe that agape is the love that we are supposed to be perfecting and seeking. But too often we get caught up in eros, especially in marriage. And when you're not doing what I want you to do, I hold my love back. And sometimes you may be disagreeing with what I'm saying because you know that you are not intentionally holding your love back. I ain't saying nothing about intentional. Do you know that for us to be intentional creatures, this is going to sound crazy, but for us to be intentional, we have to intentionally be intentional. What am I saying? On a everyday, regular basis, we live our lives from the subconscious level. We just go through life doing what we know how to do. You have to focus and be intentional about being intentional. Okay, let me go to the second one, and because I'll stay on this forever. God is God. God. What's did I? Okay, here's the second one. Second part, number 2 for becoming a better lover, you got to understand what love is, but you also have to understand the source of love. How are you going to understand love if you don't understand the source? If you don't understand the source, then everything I just said in number 1, it's not going to stick, or it's going to fly out the window, or it doesn't make sense to you, right? So you got to understand the source of love. No big reveal. God is the source of love. Right? You can't truly understand love if you don't understand God and how he says love. Remember? So real quick, Jesus gave an example of what love looks like. So he said in John 13, by this, men will know you are my disciples if you love one another. But right before that, he gave them an example of what that love looks like. The Bible says, they was at the Last Supper. Jesus got up, took a towel and a basin, and starts washing the disciples' feet. right? And there's no record that he skipped over Judas when he was washing their feet. We know he didn't skip over Peter because Peter is in the text. So he washed Judas's feet, who he knew was going to betray him, and he washed Peter's feet, who he knew was going to deny him and was his close friend. What does that tell us? That love looks like service. If you don't understand the source of love, which is God, then you won't understand that love, especially for the believer, is primarily service. Service is not for you, it's for the person you're serving, right? And when you understand the source of love, I got to say this: love is most often sacrificial. If love doesn't cost you something, I'm going to question if it's love. I'm not going to say it's not love, but I'm going to question it, right? Love is often sacrificial. Okay, number 3. See, that one was short. Here's the third one. Gathering knowledge about the one you love. Meaning, if you're going to be a better lover, you got to be committed to learning your partner. Listen, I'm not going to take a lot of time on this one, but I could, and I really need to. I'll do another video, but you got to be committed. Do y'all know what the word committed mean? Because I feel like sometimes I say these things, and I know I'm fussing at random folk, like not really you, but the people in my head is what I'm fussing at, folk that I actually know. So y'all just get to hear me fuss at them, even though they're not around. But do y'all really understand what commitment mean? So you got to be committed to learning your partner. Here's what let me give you an example of commitment. Now, y'all know I grew up in church, so I'm sorry that most of my examples, not that I don't have any real life examples, I just think the Bible has some of the best ones, and it's what I know, so whatever. Check this out. The Hebrew boys, when they were about to get thrown into the fiery furnace, right? Giving you an example of commitment. So the king says, "Can your God deliver you?" Say, "O king, live forever." I don't know if you say live forever. Anyway, here's what the Hebrew boy said. "The God we serve is able. And we believe that he will. But if he don't, we're still not going to bow down." Right? So here's the commitment piece. Their knowledge of God says that he's able. I know he can do this. Their faith, the Bible says that it is impossible to please God without faith. Their faith says that he will. Oh, he will do it. But watch this. Their commitment says, even if he don't, we still not going to bow. Job said, "Though he slays me, yet will I trust him." That's commitment. So commitment is, I am going to do this regardless of the circumstances around me because I'm committed to it. You got to be committed to learning your partner. I'm telling you. If not, your love will stay surface. The better you know your partner, the deeper your love can go, right? Once you get married, you are automatically enrolled in the university. Whatever your spouse name, my wife name, Lena. University of Lena is where I go. Especially, so you can't miss days in class those first 5 to 8 years. You need to be I'm telling you, listen to me. You need to be primarily learning. I'm telling you what I know. You need to be learning about your partner, right? Your job is to get a master's degree in knowing and understanding your partner. Master's degree. And you can't barely pass. Like, you need to put in the work. See, let me tell you the value of knowing your partner, right? So you can take your wife on a date. Take your wife on a nice date, and she feels special. Oh, man, he took me out on a date. This was so amazing, right? But you can take her on a date to a place that has sentimental value to her, and then you'll make her feel seen, valued, and heard. That can only happen when you know her. Like, you can't take her to a sentimental place that's sentimental to her if you don't know her. And that's just an example, right? Learn your partner. Get to know them so that you can love them more deeply. Like, you can buy gifts, but you can give better when you know them better. Why do you think God gives us his gifts are amazing? Because he created us, so he knows us. Probably an unfair comparison, I understand. But get to know your partner. right? Understand, learn their quirks, learn what their silence mean, learn what they look like when they're hurting, but they don't say they're hurting. Learn what it looks like when they're frustrated, but they don't say they're frustrated, right? Learn what it means when they say, I just want to go lay down, but it ain't a regular, I just want to go lay down. Love needs to show up when life is difficult. And when your partner is being put through the presser of life, your love needs to show up. But if you don't know them, you're not going to be able to do that effectively. And then here's number 4. What's my time? So I know how phone. I just want to see how long you don't. Shoot, I'm already at 30 minutes. All right, so this is going to be quick, and then we're going to end it. That's not too bad off, right? 30 minutes. Here's the 4th thing. So I'm going to run through them again real quick, if I can remember them by heart. So the first thing, we talked about what is love. So you got to understand what love is. And then you got to understand the source of love. And then you got to make sure that you're committed to knowing your partner so that you can love them better. And then here's the 4th thing, to help you improve, to develop the skill of love. On the 3rd day of Christmas, you got to do this. You got to practice loving. Yep. You got to practice. Practice? We're talking about practice in love, in marriage? 1,000%. Absolutely. You got to practice. Why? Because even though we are born lovers, we're born with the ability, the capacity to love, but we don't know how to do that. We don't know how to do it at a high level. Like children, like they all of us know how to give. All of us know how to be kind. But when it comes to real love, you got to learn how to do that. You have to learn it. And you got to practice love, especially when life is difficult. That's the thing I'm telling you. Practice love when life is difficult, right? To work on your love, to work on your skill of loving, you need to actually embrace what we said in day 1, on the first day and the second day of Christmas, right? You need to be selfish, meaning becoming a person of humility. And then you need to be trustworthy. If you're not trustworthy, like love don't have anything to stand on, right? And here's another thing. When you're practicing love, this is important. This is the last thing I'm going to share. It is extremely important when you're practicing love that you know who you are. What am I saying? How do I not know? I'm Clifton. I know who I am. Yeah, I'm not talking about knowing your name. I'm talking about your true identity. So right here, what I'm talking about, you may have some work that you need to do to fix what you think about you, because that's going to affect how you love your spouse and other people. Right? One time a lawyer asked Jesus, what's the greatest commandment? Jesus said, love. He said, the greatest commandment that God has is love, which also means the greatest thing we can do is relationships, because love does not exist outside of relationships. It don't. So Jesus said, love God, love your neighbor, love yourself. But guess what? You cannot love your neighbor if you don't love you. And you're not going to love God effectively if you don't love you. Why? Because your view of you, the reason why you don't love you properly is because you don't see you correctly. And if you don't see you correctly, you're not going to see God correctly, because you're covered in pride. So you want to get to the place to where you know who you are. See, who your parents told you that you were, or what your life has taught. You got to believe what God says about you, right? But here's why that's important. Because there is a love counterfeit. And the love counterfeit is not just bad. It's not just dangerous. It's not just harming. The love counterfeit is destructive. As a matter of fact, the gospel according to Clifton, I believe that this love counterfeit I'm about to tell you about is demonic. Why do I say that? Because there are certain things in life that, I guess we're going to be way over 40. We're going to be in the 40s. There some things in life that God has created for us humans to thrive. Love is one of them. Satan is a God wannabe. Here's what he does. He copies the things of God and make it the negative reverse, right? So love, we need love to thrive. We need love to survive. We need love for us to do life well on this planet. But people pleasing is the counterfeit of love. And I believe it's demonic because people pleasing looks like love. It looked just like it. It looked just like it, but it's rooted in pride. What if you went to the store and let's say your favorite drink is Coca-Cola, and you go get a Coca-Cola out the cooler and it looked like all the rest of the Cokes. But unbeknownst to you, this Coke is full of cyanide. It don't say that nowhere. It don't have the little green man with the yuck face saying that this is poison. It don't have nothing on it. Don't you think that's more dangerous than the other bottle that says gasoline don't drink? Yeah. People pleasing looks like love because when I'm a people pleaser, I'm not walking in love, I'm walking in fear. Why? Because I'm afraid of people. The Bible calls it the fear of man. I am afraid of your opinion of me. When I don't know who I am, I need you to determine who I am for me. And the way I get you to do that is by serving you. But watch this. The service is rooted in my fear and pride. It's not rooted in my desire to just serve you. It's rooted in my desire to be accepted. That's demonic. Why? Because it looked just like love. And most folk, I know because I encounter people. And they will proudly admit, I'm a people pleaser. And I say, that's not a good thing, right? Even if it's just your spouse, it's rooted in fear. So if you're going to practice love, number 4, if you're going to practice love, you got to know who you are so that you're not a people pleaser. If you're a people pleaser, I don't believe that's something that you can just say, you know what, I'm going to stop doing that. You need help. You learned it wrong, and so you're living it wrong. So you got to not be a people pleaser. You got to know who you are. You got to be trustworthy, right? You got to be, you have to walk in humility, and then you just practice. Look for opportunities to express your love. Love is not passive, right? I believe that when we love someone, we are looking for opportunities to express love to them. And I want to say this again back when I was talking, I think it was number 2 or 3. Anyway, love is not a feeling. Love is not about how you feel, guys. Stop expecting your partner to make you feel amazing. If your heart is right and they are loving you, you're going to feel warm and fuzzy anyway. Like buying you a new car, that may make you jump up and down, but that's not necessarily love. What need am I meeting by buying you a car? That car. It could be meeting a need, but I'm saying in and of itself, like make your love go deeper than that. Love is about giving what you have for the benefit of someone else. And the joy that you get is the fact that you gave it and they're blessed. Okay? All right. So I'm going to stop so I don't start going in circles and make this even longer than I intended for it to be. But that's day 3, the 3rd day of Christmas. I want you to increase or I want you to develop your skill of loving. Become a better lover. You become a better lover, you will have a better marriage. Okay? So hopefully this was helpful for you guys. Catch me tomorrow, day 4, on the 4th day of Christmas. It won't be live, I don't think. I don't know. If God says something different, then we will. But 4th day of Christmas. So by the way, if you're on Facebook, if you see me, then you're on Facebook because that's the only place I'm broadcasting. Go to YouTube, subscribe to the channel, subscribe to the channel. I was gonna say like this video, but it's not on there. Subscribe to the channel so you can get the notification when I do the other 12, because I'm telling you, they're gonna be good. Right? These first 3 have been good. All 12 of them you need. All 12 of them. There's actually more than 12, but with the 12 days of Christmas, I had to choose 12. Okay. All right. You guys enjoy the rest of your Christmas break if you're on Christmas break. Otherwise, I'll see y'all next time. Well, I won't see you. You'll see me. Y'all enjoy the rest of your day.